Hello everyone and welcome back to the Travel With Us channel. Today, we will be discussing the top 15 tourist destinations to visit in the capital city of Italy, Rome. It is the city where trust springs everlasting. It represents the place that is known worldwide for its old brilliant legacy, a city that once extended its realm all through Europe, Africa, and Asia. Rome is a city soaked in history and Christianity. First-time guests might be effortlessly overpowered by what this grand city brings to the table. All things considered, one can track down history and craftsmanship on pretty much every city intersection. That is the reason guests might need to get their work done to limit what they need to see and do before they get on a plane or train headed for the Italian capital. Without further ado, let's go to the video and see what places you shouldn't miss at this fantastic and historical site. The first and probably the most famous tourist attraction of Rome is no other than Colosseum. The same as the Eiffel Tower is to Paris, the outline of the Flavian Amphitheater is to Rome. The biggest construction left to us by Roman artifact, the Colosseum actually gives the model to sports fields. Present-day football arena configuration is founded on this oval Roman arrangement. The structure was started by Vespasian in AD 72, and later his child, Titus, extended it by adding the fourth story. It was introduced in the year AD 80 with a progression of stunning games. The Colosseum was huge enough for dramatic exhibitions, celebrations, carnivals, or games, which the imperial court and high authorities watched from the least level, privileged Roman families on the second, the general population on the third and fourth. Adjacent to the Colosseum stands the similarly natural Arch of Constantine, a victorious curve raised by the Senate to respect the ruler as deliverer of the city and bearer of harmony, later his triumph in the skirmish of the Milvian Bridge in 312. Lines are long and move gradually, so you can save time by joining the Skip the Line, Ancient Rome and Colosseum half-day walking tour, and have an educated aid too. The Baths of Caracalla, the second biggest public showers in Rome, were worked by Emperor Caracalla in the 3rd century for political promulgation purposes. The ruler basically needed individuals to like him. The showers were practical for north of 300 years. Carelessness, plundering, and a tremor transformed the complex into ruins, yet their sheer size and creativity keep on entreating guests. Both during and since their activity as showers, they filled in as motivation for some other eminent structures, old and present day, for example, the Baths of Diocletian, the Basilica of Maxentius, the First Pennsylvania Station in New York City, Chicago Union Station, and the Senate of Canada building. Fine arts recuperated from the remains incorporate well-known figures, for example, the Farnese Bull and the Farnese Hercules. The City of Vatican represents one of the biggest Catholic centers in the world where thousands of pilgrimages are welcomed annually. The Vatican is the litless-free state on the planet, with a space of not exactly a large portion of a square kilometer, its vast majority encased by the Vatican dividers. Inside are the Vatican royal residence and nurseries. St. Peter's Basilica and St. Peter's Square, a region administered by the Pope, preeminent top of the Roman Catholic Church. This smaller space offers a ton of things to see between its exhibition halls and the incredible basilica itself. Inside St. Peter's Basilica is Michelangelo's showstopper Pieta, alongside sculpture and special stepped areas by Bernini and others. The unchallenged feature of the Vatican Historical Centers in the Sistine Chapel, whose radiant frescoed roof is Michelangelo's most renowned work. If you are about to visit Rome, something you mustn't miss at any cost is a legendary Pantheon. The Pantheon, known as the best safeguarded landmark of Roman vestige, is astoundingly flawless for its 2,000 years. This is in spite of the way that Pope Gregory XI eliminated the overlaid bronze rooftop tiles, and Pope Urban arranged its bronze rooftop stripped and dissolved down to project the overhang over the raised area in St. Peter's and guns for Castel Sant'Angelo. The Pantheon was remade later harmed by fire in AD 80, and the subsequent brickwork shows the phenomenally high specialized dominance of Roman developers. Its 43-meter vault, the preeminent accomplishment of Roman inside engineering, hangs suspended without apparent backings. These are very much concealed inside the divider, and its 9-meter focal opening is the structure's just light source. To absorb as quite a bit of Rome's set of experiences, legacy, and culture as could be expected. Then, at that point, don't miss the National Roman Museum or the Museo Nazionale Romano. This Roman exhibition hall doesn't house its whole assortment in one spot. All things considered, shows are situated in various objections all through the city. Track down golden Roman curios and adornments inside the mind-blowing Palazzo Massimo Aletern. Respect amazing utilization of marble and staggering figures inside the Palazzo Altemps, and get a very close gander at Roman showers at the re-established notable site of the Baths of Diocletian. Strolling through the discussion, presently in the center of a pounding current city, resembles venturing back 2 centuries into the core of old Rome. Even though what makes do of this focal point of Roman life and government shows just a little part of its unique magnificence, the standing and fallen segments, its victorious curves, and stays of its dividers actually intrigue, particularly when you consider that for a long time, the historical backdrop of the Forum was the historical backdrop of the Roman Empire and the Western world. Roman political and strict life was focused here, alongside the courts, markets, and meeting places. Later the 7th century, the structures crumbled to pieces, and holy places and strongholds were worked in the midst of the old remaining parts. Its stones were quarried for different structures, and it was not until the 18th and 19th hundreds of years that precise unearthings uncovered the antiquated structures from under a 10-meter layer of earth and rubble. Implicit honor of Victor Emmanuel. The primary ruler of a brought-together Italy, this pretentious landmark might have all the earmarks of being strong white marble, yet really contains many rooms inside. It was planned by Giuseppe Sacconi in 1885 and finished in 1925. There are 2 long-lasting galleries, one on Italian reunification and one on resettlement from Italy, just as different spaces that host pivoting presentations. The Victor Emmanuel Monument isn't actually known as one of Rome's most lovely constructions, yet it is by the by definitely worth the visit, regardless of whether just for the incredible perspectives from the top. One of the city's most famous vacation destinations, this 17th century magnum opus has been deified in films until it is very nearly a necessary visit. Tossing a coin, not 3, into the Trevi Fountain, Fontana di Trevi, is a practice that should guarantee your revisitation of Rome. Rome's biggest wellspring. Fontana di Trevi is provided by a reservoir conduit initially developed by Agrippa, the extraordinary workmanship supporter of the primary century BC, to carry water to his showers. The wellspring was made for Pope Clement XII somewhere in the range of 1732 and 1751 by Niccolò Salvi, and worked against the back mass of the royal residence of the Dukes of Poli. It portrays the ocean god Oceanus, Neptune, with ponies, tritons, and shells. The water whirls around the figures, and the counterfeit shakes and gathers in an enormous bowl, consistently loaded up with coins. Before we move on, a quick reminder for you to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can get updates about our every video in the future. St. Nick Maria in Trastevere is one of the most seasoned holy places in Rome, with most students of history accepting it was first inherent in the 4th century. The congregation has great mosaics from the 12th and 13th hundreds of years. It has been broadened and reestablished throughout the long term. Situated in the famous Trastevere area, its barometrical piazza is upgraded by the mosaics on the facade, particularly around evening time when the congregation and its pinnacle are enlightened. Investigate a Rome traveler map, and you'll see one region so loaded up with activities that it's difficult to peruse the road names. This is the Centro Historico, the notable focal point of Rome. With so many craftsmanship-filled temples, dazzling castles, and vivacious squares that you could spend your entire excursion walking its antiquated roads and paths. Invest some energy just to ingest the locals' climate as opposed to going from one of its must-see sites to the following. Alongside Piazza Navona, the Trevi Fountain, and the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, stop in less notable places of worship. For example, Santa Maria del Popolo, where you'll track down works by Bernini and Caravaggio. Stop at the Spanish Steps, the trip of unpredictable steps and arrivals that lead up to the French Church of Trinita dei Monti. The steps take their name from Piazza di Spagna, the court at their base and one of Rome's most run-of-the-mill squares. The steps have been a most loved torment of sightseers, where they can sit and partake in gelato in the mid-year or warm their hands around cones of hot broiled chestnuts in the colder time of year. The boat-molded wellspring at the foot of the Spanish Steps is known as the Barcaxia and was made by Pietro Bernini, father of the incomparable Baroque draftsman Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Utilizing Condotti, driving southwest from Piazza di Spagna is Rome's most chic shopping road, where the Caffè Greco is renowned for the craftsmen, essayists, and performers who have regularly visited it. Palatine Hill, one of the 7 hills of Rome, has connections to Roman folklore, as it was here a wolf purportedly found the twin young men Romulus and Remus and really focused on them until a shepherd protected them. Regardless of whether this legend isn't accurate, Palatine Hill is as yet where Rome was established. Today, just destroys remain. However, during the imperial time, the slope was totally developed with huge castles. Supreme castles were worked here, beginning with Augustus. Before supreme occasions, the slope was for the most part involved by the places of the rich. One of Rome's most trademark Baroque squares, Piazza Navona actually has the diagram of the Roman arena worked here by Emperor Domitian. It was as yet utilized for celebrations and horse races during the Middle Ages and was revamped in the Baroque style by Borromini, who additionally planned the grand series of royal residences and the Congregation of Sant'Agnese on its west side. Its veneer, campanile, and vault feature how Baroque engineering weaves arched and sunken surfaces, peaks, windows, sections, and wharves into a brought-together plan. In the sepulchre of Sant'Agnese is Alessandro Algardi's 1653 The Miracle of St. Agnes and the remaining parts of a Roman mosaic floor. Sant'Agnese gave a model to Baroque and Rococo houses of worship in Italy and somewhere else. Although Borromini planned the square and its encompassing exteriors, it was his arch-rival, Bernini, who made its highlight, the lovely Baroque wellspring, Fontana dei Fiumi. The vivacious wellspring addresses the 4 streams then, at that point, thought to be the biggest on every one of the known mainlands, with figures exemplifying the Nile, Ganges, Danube, and Rio de la Plata around the huge bowl, each joined by plants and creatures of their separate locales. Probably Rome's biggest park, the Borghese Gardens contains various attractions that incorporate 2 historical centers, the most unmistakable of which is the Villa Borghese. Worked as a party manor and to house the Borghese workmanship assortment, the display contains artistic creations, figures, mosaics, and reliefs, most from the 15th to the 18th century, and incorporate works by Raphael, Titian, Caravaggio, and Rubens. Somewhere else in the recreation area, Villa Giulia was worked as a mid-year home for the 16th century Pope Julius Spramen III and houses the Etruscan Museum. More manors are from the World article that was held in Rome in 1911. The recreation area is an English-style scene garden with strolling ways and lakes where you can lease rowboats. You can likewise lease bicycles or a surrey to investigate the recreation area. There is a decent zoo, Bioparco di Roma, with naturalized walled-in areas and a small path associating its different segments. Some of its attractions will speak to kids, including jungle gyms, end-of-the-week horse rides, and infrequent mannequin shows. The Basilica Papale di Santa Maria Maggiore is one of the 4 ecclesiastical holy places and the biggest Marian church in Rome. The congregation on the Esquiline slope is from the 5th century and still contains numerous legitimate mosaics. It additionally has an unmistakable brilliant roof. It is said that there are even bits of wood from the bunk of Jesus under the special raised area. Established in the 4th century, the Basilica di Santa Maria Maggiore, St. Mary Major, is viewed as one of the main Catholic places of worship in Rome. Its 18th century outside disguises one of the most incredible safeguarded Byzantine insides in the city. Explorers who are in Rome on August 5 might need to go to the Miracle of the Snow's festivity when a huge number of white petals are dropped from the roof. The catacombs of San Callisto, St. Calixtus, and San Sebastiano, both underground interment places in the Via Appia Antica, are broad. San Callisto fills a space of 300 by 400 meters, with unpredictable, multifaceted organizations of entries and loads cut into the delicate tufa. Notwithstanding the burial chambers, St. Calixtus has 6 hallowed sanctuaries, built somewhere in the range of 290 and 310, with both agnostic and early Christian divider works of art. In the papal crypt is the burial place of the greater part of the martyred popes of the 3rd century, distinguished by Greek engravings. San Sebastiano, one of Rome's 7 journey temples, was implicit the 4th century on the site of old burial grounds and sepulchres that, alongside the establishments of a Constantinian basilica, can be investigated. Burial place chambers are on a few levels with fine artworks, plaster beautification, and engravings dating to the main century AD. Even though adored remaining parts are thought to have been brought here for care during oppressions, these were graveyards, not concealing spots for Christians. What's your next destination? Have you ever been to these places before? If you enjoyed our video, feel free to leave your suggestions, impressions, and thoughts down in the comment section, and try not to forget to click the subscribe button as well as that bell in order to get notified about similar content. Thanks for watching.